And a good Monday evening. Welcome into Time Out here on TVNB. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, the Flames go 500 over the weekend. The Expos get new life breathed into La Belle Province. And where will Ken Griffey land? All that and a whole lot more coming up, so don't go far. And a good Monday evening. Welcome into Time Out here on TVNB. Jim Hennessy sitting alongside Bruce McDonald. Bruce, nice to have you back in the big chair.
Good to be back, Jim.
Yeah, Christmas closing in. We certainly hope that your Christmas shopping is going well. I went out on Saturday. Should have put the body armor before I went on, but anyway, we won't get into that. Certainly hope you're getting ready for the holidays and having lots of good luck, especially with the weather. It's been fantastic. But yes. Let's talk about some sports, of course, as we normally do. Kick off the show this time of the year. Talk about the Flames 500 over the weekend. Come from behind, 6-4 win on Saturday night against Lowell. We'll have some highlight clips coming up from that game. And Quebec, man, they've really got their number. A 3-1 loss. Scoville with the only tally for them last night. So that leaves them 6 points behind Quebec now, just about getting ready to head into the Christmas break. What is it with the Citadels? They just can't seem to get by this team.
I don't know. We're six points back now, but we still have 7 games in hand somehow. Whoever made that schedule up was a joke, wasn't it? But anyhow, from what I can tell right now, we still have, in my opinion, it might be funny saying this, losing 4 straight to Quebec, but I really feel we have the best team in this division. No, laugh at me.
Okay.
Laugh at me.
No, go ahead. It's Christmas. I'm trying to be kind.
Yeah. No, I really feel we have the best team in this division. Jaguar hasn't played up to his potential yet. I think he will before the year's out.
Sure.
That'll make a huge difference. Their defense is strong. They have 3 really good forward lines. I mean, I really like this team right now. And like I say, it's a long season. I'd say by April, May, if we still have this team together, we'll be fine. I also noticed I was on the internet the other night. I believe it was Saturday night's Calgary game, and Don McKelly was a healthy scratch again.
Yes, he was.
So who knows what's going to happen there? We might see him back again before long.
No question. St. Louis playing well up there, though.
Yes, he is.
He's getting the regular shifts, and if memory serves me correct, I think he's got a couple of points now.
Yeah, he got an assist on the weekend.
Yeah.
On the
and he had a goal.
Yeah,
he got his first goal as well, yeah.
That's great to see. I'm glad to see
Big
that.
time, yeah.
He deserves it, yeah.
Well, I was talking to Tommy Watt when we broadcast the game a couple of weeks ago down at Harbor Station, and Tommy said that, you know, this organization has some high hopes for St. Louis. I mean, he's talented, and everybody that's, you know, seen him play here knows how talented he is. The thing I said to Tommy was the same thing I think I said to you a couple of weeks ago, that, you know, it's a shame to bring these kids up. And I mean, Calgary's playing well. They're on a good streak right now. Thing is, they bring these kids up and they stick them on the 4th line. You know what I mean? They give them very limited playing time, and a guy with his ability and his speed. Yeah, he's small for the NHL, but Theo Fleury was small for the NHL too. Get him in there on the 2nd and 3rd line. Hey, throw him on the first line. I mean, what has Sutter got to lose?
That's right.
You know what I mean? I mean, Grant Fuhrer has been just the biggest mistake I think that Calgary's made in years. Freddie Brathwaite's pulled him out of the fire, thank God. But, I mean, you know, you look at a guy like St. Louis, and he's doing well. He's got a couple of points up there now, but you want to see this guy get some quality ice time. Then if he doesn't produce, you've got a good reason to send him back to the farm. But if you stick him on the 3rd and 4th line, leave him shelled up there, he's going to get bitter, and for good reason he's going to be bitter. He's going to be back in St. John, and his attitude is going to stink.
Well, that reminds me years back when the Bruins brought Andrew McKim up.
Yeah,
he played 39 games, I believe, at 1 point.
You betcha.
1 shift a period. What are you supposed to do, right? But give Calgary credit. They are playing him. I think he's out there with Stillman a lot and guys like that. So, yeah, they're giving him a shot there, and he'll prove now if he can really do it or not.
Sure. It's going to be interesting to see coming down the stretch, especially with the Christmas break, how they rotate the schedule around. Just a final note about the Flames. They've got another, like you said off the top, brutal schedule. They don't play again until this Saturday when they host the Hamilton Bulldogs at Harbor Station. Don't forget, tickets are still available for that matchup. But you got to be shaking your head if I'm Rick Vive. I mean, you know, I played last Saturday, and then I had a week off before I headed into this previous weekend. I played Saturday of this past weekend, played Sunday. Now I've got to sit in neutral again for another 7 days until I get the boys back out on the ice in a game situation. Practice is practice. Anybody who's played hockey knows that. It's good to get out with the boys, play some shinny, keep the goaltender hot. But practice, playing in a game, whole different thing. No wonder this team can't seem to get any consistency.
That must be one of the reasons why they sent Tyrone Garner down to the East Coast League. They wanted Jaguar to
keep
play.
Him active.
They wanted both those goaltenders to play every game. I mean, like you say, Jaguar played both games on the weekend.
Yeah.
He should be right now. I don't even know the other fellow's name. I haven't seen him yet, but the guy from the college hockey there.
Yeah, he picked him up.
But who knows when he'll get a shot, if at all. Jaguar is there to play every game right now.
Alex Westland. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's
it just
all right.
came to me.
Yeah, like I say, I've been away a lot working lately and haven't even seen what this fellow looks like, to be honest. But
he's small.
Is he small?
He's short. He's tiny. He surprised me because you look at the player stats when you get the booklet when you go down at Harbor Station. But he came out on the ice and he's tiny.
Is he really?
Oh, he's short, but he's quick. He's got an extremely quick glove hand. Well educated. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you see me out on the street in the next 5 or 6 days,
Yale?
But Yale University.
So,
I mean, you know, we're talking about an educated kid here.
That should help him stop pucks. But anyway, Jim, is he as small as Karpenko, or?
I think he's smaller.
Is that right?
I'm going to go on record to say he might be a little bit smaller, but like I said, he's got an extremely quick glove hand, and Tommy Watt said that, we're going to see if we can squeeze this guy in somewhere and get him a game. So,
but he's a fairly high draft pick. Am I wrong there?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
believe he is.
You know, they'll give him a shot somewhere along the line. They have a few games around the Christmas break. You might see him in there, like they go to Portland and Forster and back-to-back nights. Maybe they'll stick him in one of those two. So
no question.
Give him a shot down there.
Be interesting to see as we sit back and wait to see how Rick Vaive juggles around the lineup heading into the Christmas break. Speaking of the Flames, we'll stay with them. Saturday night, as we mentioned, they took on the Lowell Lock Monsters, a battle for second place in the Atlantic Division. Earl Smith was on hand with the TVNB cameras, and here's what he caught for us.
The St. John Flames made like St. George and slew the dragon. Well, actually, it was the Lock Monster. But they came away with a 6-4 win, and here with the highlight package is Aaron Kennedy.
Still 0-0, 7 minutes gone in the first period as the puck is brought up ice by Lowell on a 3-on-1. Hotel moving in, shot scores! Sharon joins the rush, 3-on-2. Breton down the left side. In front, Sharon, shot save! Rebound and score! Clark has it again in front, back in, knocked aside by McIsaac. Now McLean controlling behind the Lowell net. He takes a stick in the face. Hello, no penalty. On the right side, here comes Chris Clark. Shakes off a check. Clark now over the Lowell line on the left side. Clark plays it in front. McLean scores! Leaves it for Fata in neutral territory. Fata now for Breton. Looking for Cowan. Seeley broke it up. He moves it down the right side. Bullet back for Seeley. Shot. They score! Richard Seeley with his third goal of the season. His second goal in as many nights a week one. He will move it for Cowan. Cowan cuts to the middle. Feeds it for Fata. 2-on-0 with Breton. Breton scores! Breton wins the face-off. Chiron has the puck. 30 seconds in the power play. Flames lead 4-2. Chiron down low. They score! Now Belanger in front. Moreland for a shot block. Moreland another chance. That one doesn't get through. Backhand scores! Peter Mika finally, after a crazy flurry, it's a power play goal for Lowell, and they're within 2. It's 6-4. Bejan now having words, and there's going to be a fight. This is McIsaac who's going after Bejan. Bejan lands a quick left, and now they're throwing some heavy right-handed bombs. Bejan and McIsaac, and now McIsaac lands a couple of solid rights. Bejan comes in with a big right. Bejan's jersey's up over his head, and Bejan comes in with the lefts. Bejan wanted to go with Bullock. Bullock would have nothing of it, and then it was McIsaac who comes in for his second fight of the game. And McCagg tried to intervene single-handedly, and then he wisely allowed them to go. And Sharon still having words with Heward. 8 is indeed enough for the Lowell Lock Monsters. Their franchise record 8-game undefeated streak comes to an end at Harbor Station. The final score, the St. John Flames 6, the Lowell Lock Monsters 4.
Rick, quite a turnaround from last Friday's game with Lock Monster. You must be quite pleased about tonight's performance.
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, I think anytime you win, you're pleased. You know, right now, I mean, the main concern is to get wins. I mean, we're a young hockey club. We're going to make mistakes. We're trying to eliminate those mistakes as we go along, and hopefully by midway through the season that we'll play relatively mistake-free hockey. But when you have a young team like we do, you're going to. And I was extremely pleased with the effort we got tonight from everybody, and everybody stuck their nose in and played with grit.
Right, and now you're off to Quebec. Really strange schedule here. Would you care to make a comment about the scheduling?
Well, not really, because I don't make the schedule. So if they're on the schedule, you have to play them one way or another. So, you know, we got to go up there and play a game, and it's right now it's a big game. I mean, depending on what they do tonight in Portland, we could be tied for first place with 7 games in hand after tomorrow night. So it's a huge game, and then we're off for another week. So that's just the way the schedule is.
Right. Well, you haven't beaten Quebec, in 3 tries this year. Do you have anything special in mind for them tomorrow night?
No, hopefully an effort like we got tonight, to be honest with you, a real good concerted effort. We got a little bit undisciplined in the third period, but we have to stay disciplined and focused. And I thought we did a great job for the first 2 periods. We played decent in the third, but not as well as we did in the first 2. So I think we played 3 solid periods like we did in the first 2 tonight. They're going to have their hands full.
All right. Good luck in Quebec, and we'll see you back here next Saturday.
All right. Thank you very much.
There you have the highlights from Saturday's game at Harbour Station. Earl Smith back to timeout.
Thank you, Earl. We appreciate your time at Harbour Station on Saturday evening. Once again, the Flames defeated the Lowell Lock Monsters. Easier said than done, 6-4. And, of course, they lost to Quebec 3-1 last night. Like we said, next action for the Flames is coming up Saturday night when they take on the Hamilton Bulldogs. Flip the page over to Junior B hockey. How'd the Thomas Construction team make out over the weekend?
The Thomas Construction, no names. They lost 7-2 to Richabocto. I wasn't there. I was still in Newfoundland at the time, but I get some information that they played a horrible hockey game.
7-2, yeah.
Probably their worst game of the year, and it was quite disappointing to the owner and the coaches after the way the team has worked this year. They've struggled getting wins, but they've worked hard, and they've been playing actually very good considering they were 2-6 going in. But the effort, I guess, just wasn't there Saturday night. Mac Millette, starting goaltender, got yanked after 4 goals. Ryan Steele went in and held the fort a little bit after that. But from what I understand, there was no effort there at all Saturday night, which is disappointing.
Any indication? Did you hear how many people were down there? Or?
Don't know. I didn't hear that actually. But with the Flames playing and with Christmas break, or Christmas coming on the Christmas break and Christmas parties, they probably didn't draw well for that one, I wouldn't think.
It's a tough time of the year.
It is a tough time.
There are Christmas parties, and, you know, let's face it, money has to go towards, you know, gifts and shopping and, you know, buying food and getting ready for the holiday season. So, you know, after Christmas, you usually see maybe a little bit of more of a lull simply because the visa bills are rolling in and people are trying to catch back up. But it'll be interesting to see. I know when I talked to Stu McDonald, Chief Operating Officer for the Flames a couple of weeks ago, he said they weren't ecstatic about the crowds they've been drawing down at the rink, but they're pleased, of course, because they started off in August or September. They had the news conference and reported to the city and to all the fans out there that, you know, if they didn't start getting some more butts in the seats down at Harbour Station, it was going to be the Allied van backing up to the west end of the building and pulling out of town.
I can't speak for Stu McDonald, but I don't know how they could be pleased with the crowds at Harbour Station. 3,600 on one Saturday night and 35 the week before.
Well, I mean, the thrill is gone, man. I mean,
know,
you know,
but that's still, you still can't survive drawing that on a Saturday night.
Absolutely not. You can't. But
you need 5,000. You need 5,000 on Saturdays, 4,000 weeknights. And
I honestly don't believe you're going to get 5,000 anymore on a Saturday or a Friday night. It doesn't matter. I think that the you know, the love-in with the Flames is gone, and now you're seeing the first couple of seasons you used to see people down there just because it was the spot to be in town. But now you're really getting down to the nitty-gritty where you're getting the true hockey fans want to be down there for the game. And I'm sorry, but I really don't see, I mean, even last year when they were in their playoff run and the year before, I mean, until they made it to the Calder Cup final 2 years ago, you weren't even seeing full houses then.
No, that's true, but I'm not saying I think they can draw like that again. What I'm saying is I think they have to survive here. Basically.
No question. No question.
So,
you won't get
also,
any argument.
one little thing on our Junior B team, if you don't mind, Jim, we have a fundraiser going on now. We're selling tickets for $20, a trip to the Daytona 500 next spring. It's a rental car down. I know you're right over there in line to get a
Oh,
ticket.
hey. No, listen,
But,
there's got to be someone out there. I mean, I
for $20
understand how
yeah,
big racing is, and I
But,
understand that
yeah.
you're a huge fan.
But
Go
$20
ahead. Finish up.
$20 a ticket. You get to go to the Busch race, the Winston Cup
The
race,
Busch race. Now,
the
what,
truck
now
race.
what is a Busch race?
Just let me finish this, please.
All right, go
okay?
ahead.
You get a rental car. You can't take that on the track, okay? You
No.
get a hotel to stay in.
Right.
You get $500 spending money.
Well, that's cool.
So it's a $20 a ticket. You can phone John Caldwell at 696-2662, Bobby Allen 648-0381, or myself at 693-2903 for tickets on that. And we're only selling, I believe it's 500 tickets. So your odds are
so you
pretty
get a
good
good
on
chance
that.
of winning.
Yeah, and to help support the Junior B hockey team, we need it badly.
No question about it. What's a Busch race?
A Busch race is what they might consider the minor leagues. Winston Cup is the big boys.
Yeah.
Which is Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon, all the guys. Which
But
is
it's
the
the
top
same.
level.
It's the same
Busch
cars.
No, it's not the same cars.
Oh, okay.
Busch is what you call the AHL compared to the NHL.
So they're smaller cars?
No, yeah, they're less powerful cars. I mean, different sponsors on them and so on.
So these are just young, up-and-coming drivers?
For the most part, but what the funny thing about it is, if there's a break in the Winston Cup schedule, these guys can go down and race in the Busch race if it's on the same weekend. Say they can race here if they want to, which doesn't make sense to me at all. But
doesn't make any sense to
but
me
that's
either,
basically yeah. Well, that's just
you
some
people still love
some more
it, so.
fuel in your kitchen. Yeah.
No, I'm learning. I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm putting an effort.
You are
out there.
trying.
All
yes.
right. Second half is coming up. It'll be just as entertaining as the first half, so don't go far.
Yeah.
Welcome back into the second half of Time Out here on TVNB. Nice to have you tuned in on this Monday evening. Jim Hennessy alongside Bruce McDonald. We flipped the page to baseball now. The winter meetings are underway, and the first item that I want to talk about is good news for you because you're an Expos fan. Good news for all the Expo fans out there. They have some new ownership. It's an art dealer out of New York. He says right off the top he's glad to be in Montreal, loves Montreal, doesn't want to move this ball club into Montreal, so the tradition lives on in La Belle Province. He has promised to increase the payroll by 50%. And for the Expos, if you're a baseball fan, you know that's huge, huge. They want to turn the Expos back into a contender. And, you know, what more can you say? The 2002 is the year they're shooting for to have this outdoor stadium built. Everything is in forward mode instead of being backward mode for the Expos. So, I mean, good news all the way around.
Well, when they get that outdoor park built, first game in the year 2002, I'll be there. And my buddy Art Como will be there. We were discussing we're going up for starters. So
we'll look forward to it.
Probably going to have a crew go up there from St. John. But anyhow, I think it's great news. I mean, not only do I feel great for all us Expos fans, I feel great for Felipe Alou. They interviewed him, and he said, this is why I didn't sign with LA when he had the chance to go out there. I mean, he said that he was waiting for this to happen, for a turnaround in Montreal. And I mean, as you're aware and the fans are, I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, and I was very negative about the situation there for the last couple of years. I didn't think this would happen.
Tank, yeah.
I didn't think this would happen, to be honest, but it looks good now, and I'm really excited about it.
Do you think that with this news, I know that you know they're still going to have to play it at the Big O for a couple of more years. Do you think that the people will still come out and support this team? I mean, that was the big complaint. Sitting in the tank, trying to watch a ball game, they didn't want to do it. I mean, you know, the thing's falling apart. You know, but do you think they'll come out and show their support just to say, we're going to suffer for a couple of more years, but we know better things are down the road?
Yeah, you know, I don't think you'll get huge crowds out there, but you can't go much lower than what they've had the last 3 years. So they can only go up, I guess. I mean, if they can increase their payroll by 50% and add some players and some key spots, I mean, they don't have a bad young team really as it is right now. If they can add another good starting pitcher and maybe another bat in the lineup somewhere for starters, I mean, that would go a huge way toward making them competitive this year coming up right now, because they basically, even with the team they have there now, they could still be a 500 team this year.
No question.
You know, and then work from there. But yeah, I think you'll see. I mean, they were only averaging what, 7,000 a game. Some nights 4,000. So I think you might see the crowds up a little bit, but not a lot really. They'll survive until they get to the new ballpark. But
well, let's hope they get out there and show the new ownership that they're happy about their announcement.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
Just one final note about the Expos. It looks like they could be losing one of their big-name players before they even get this whole new transition kicked off. Rondale White says that he wants out of Montreal. He's tired. Doesn't matter about the new announcement, 50% pay increase. Doesn't matter. He wants out.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to pick this guy? I mean, he's a quality ball player.
Well, the problem with Rondale White, he's making about $3 million a year now.
Roughly, yeah.
He plays half the year, so who's going to want him?
That's it.
I mean, he's hurt every
Milwaukee
year.
has expressed interest.
Well,
in picking this guy
there's a Montreal West right there.
Out of the pan
Milwaukee?
into the frying pan.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, what's he going to do? Replace Marquise Grissom out there? I don't know. Rondale White's a good ball player, and he could really do a job for Montreal.
Sure.
But if they can get maybe a starting pitcher for him, trade him, I'd say.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Let's go up the highway to their Canadian cousins, Toronto Blue Jays. Of course, when the season was over for Toronto, the fire sale began. I mean, they started shipping players out, Sean Green being the big one, gone to L.A. for huge dollars. The word was in the summer, getting into the dog days of summer, if Green went, Delgado went, and vice versa. Delgado, not the case. They've signed him, locked him into a 3-year deal worth $36 million. I think that's way too much money for this guy.
Yes.
He puts up good numbers. There's no question about it. Not argue that fact. I wouldn't even dare to argue with anybody. But the situation is, these players, he got hurt last year and was out for a tremendous amount of time. I mean, he could have put up even bigger numbers than he did this year. But the thing is, $36 million when you're trying to deal with a payroll that they want to stay around the 50 or 60 million mark. Boys, I'm telling you, it's almost like the Calgary Flames with the Grant Fuhr situation. They paid all this money, all their eggs were in one basket. Now they got no place left to go.
Yeah, really, they want to keep their payroll at $50 million. They're paying Delgado 12 and Mondesi 11.
Yeah.
That's almost half their payroll right there, right?
You betcha.
Now, how can they afford to get anyone else, really, when you look at it? I mean, Delgado's a good ball player, but he's a first baseman for starters. He hit in the 270s last year is what he hit.
Yep.
He had 44 homers, which is great. Like you say, he missed the last 6 weeks of the year to an injury.
Sure.
He could have hit 50, which is...
Oh, no question.
But you have to take 50 into consideration what 50 means nowadays. It sounds like a huge number, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
But look back 10 years, 50 would be the equivalent of what, 35?
Roughly, yeah.
So
yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
I think so. I mean, once again, he's a great ball player, but there was a little thing in the newspaper the other day. They had listing the top 10 salaries in baseball, and I think it was Brown of L.A. at $15 million a year.
Oh, you bet.
Green had 14 something. It goes right down. The 10th place guy was $11.3 million. Come on.
Where does it end?
It's just outrageous, isn't it?
Well, I was talking with a coworker of mine, and we were talking about this the other day, and the funny thing is, and I told him, I said very bluntly, they tried it before, but it might be time once again for the owners to step in and say, boys, I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. There's too many people out there that want to play baseball.
Yes.
Good ball players out there. Forget it. I mean, someone has got to set the precedent, and I don't know who it would be. You can't even fathom who it might be, because you get guys like Ted Turner, who, writes a check to the UN for $1 billion, and it doesn't bounce. So we're talking some heavy cake here, right? George Steinbrenner, not in the same league as Ted Turner, but pretty darn close. So who's going to be the one to stand up and say, that's it, we've had enough of it? Now, the Expos have kind of been leading the pack, if you can say that, to try and turn this trend around, saying, we're not going to bankrupt ourselves so we can put a winning team. We're going to have a competitive team out there, and if they can do any better than that, then that's fine. But a situation where David Cohn, doesn't even pass his physical yet, and Steinbrenner says,
$12 million.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there's $12 million for 12 wins. What's
and he hasn't even passed his physical yet.
That's right.
So what happens if he goes to the doctor and they say, he's got a bad elbow, he's going to have surgery, he'll be gone for 3 months? I
don't know. I just don't know what to say. I mean, and Delgado, back to that situation for a second, he's got a clause in his contract after next year. If he doesn't feel Toronto's going in the right direction, he can ask demand a trade. Not only that, in his press conference, he said, I'm giving up my chance at free agency here. I could be giving up a lot of money by signing with Toronto.
Yeah, sounds like he's real interested to stay there.
But not only that, he's giving up a lot of money. He's making $12 million a year.
Yeah.
I imagine that's American funds, too.
You betcha. So, Gordash was just sitting there.
I don't know, maybe in hockey you're starting to see a little bit of that with some of these free agents that have been more or less shut out. Happy Boolin and these guys. And then Joe Murphy and Ray Shepard signed him for way under. Keith Primo's
another guy.
But Murphy and Shepard signed for like $2 or $3 million less than they got last year.
Yeah.
Maybe you're starting to see it in hockey a little bit.
Well,
I mean, in hockey they can't afford it even more than baseball.
Hopefully the owners are going to make a stand here.
So.
I'd sure like to see it. One final note. I know you've been dying to jump on this one. Ken Griffey, of course, is a free agent now.
Yes.
John Olerud gets signed by Seattle.
Yeah.
The New York Mets.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me. That's where Griffey's going to end up?
Griffey, well, right now, of course, Cincinnati was a front runner on that, and as everyone's aware, that fell through on the weekend. The owner of Cincinnati said they have more chance to get Goofy than Griffey. So anyway,
I'm going to try not to laugh while you explain this to me.
Okay.
But go ahead, please.
Pittsburgh. He turned down Pittsburgh. Why would he do that?
It's
right?
an obvious reason. Yeah.
Basically, my sources tell me.
Sources. Oh,
my sources.
Bruce has got sources
I've
now.
got sources now, telling me that he's going to the New York Mets.
The Mets.
The Mets.
For who?
The Mets. Well, I can't answer that one right now, but I don't know who the Mets had to give up.
You better check with your sources, big fella.
I understand it's that young outfielder for starters, the guy that came up late in the year. What's his name? That put the big impression on for them.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
there's
about.
him.
I can't think of what his name is.
Geez, it's not baseball season. I'm sorry here, but the right-handed reliever that took over for their big closer there, him. Isn't that terrible? I don't know the names this time.
We're out of whack, folks. Baseball season is over.
Those two are the main keys to the deal. Did we hear a name there?
No.
Anyway, and plus 2 or 3 minor leaguers and probably some cash too. But that's,
we're talking some big. We're going to be like the Kevin Brown numbers here to sign Ken Griffey.
But see, didn't the Mets send an outfielder to the Cubs recently there to free up center field? I don't think this guy would have held him back anyway, but whoever it was, I think my prediction right here on national TV is that Ken Griffey ends up with the Mets within the next 2 weeks.
How big of a deal does this guy sign?
Oh, man.
5, 6 years?
Oh, yeah, but look at his yearly. If Kevin Brown and Sean Green are getting 15 and 14, what's Griffey get? It's scary to think about it, isn't it?
Yeah, I could get some serious Christmas shopping done just thinking about it. Anyway, we're all out of time. Just as a final note here, Bobby Cox, Atlanta was thinking about throwing their hand into the Ken Griffey bidding, but they said, no way, he'd have to give up Kevin Millwood, who had a sensational year for them, and he just said, no way, he's way too much. But you never know, Ted Turner, big buck man, he might decide,
but where's he going to play in Atlanta with Andrew Jones in center field?
Hard to say. Hard to say. Griffey's he can bounce around. I think Griffey'd be all right anywhere in the outfield.
That's right.
Anyway, we're totally out of time. Thanks very much for your time. Closing in on Christmas, we certainly hope you and yours are having a great holiday season. We'll be back with our final show for the holiday season coming up, or 1999, I should say, coming up next Monday. So, Bruce, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have fun on the road, and thank you. We'll talk to you again next Monday at 7 o'clock.